Well,
5, 4. Well, it's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Click on go, and then it does a 4 count. So
yes.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. What is up, familia? Welcome to a new season of the Let's Be Frank podcast. We're back, dying to talk to you and hear from you eventually, but it's going to be us talking for today. As always, I am Frank Lopez, one of your co-hosts, alongside the one and only Frank Martinez. Been a while since I did one of these opens, so it's not as seamless and smooth and well-oiled as normal. But how you doing, Frank? What's up, champ?
Yeah, doing it without a spring training either for us. So
Yeah, there you go.
it's a little bit of rust, but we'll shake it off real quickly here. I'm doing well, man. I am excited, and I'm actually looking forward to baseball personally, man. Like
Yeah,
let's
man.
go. Let's get it happening.
Yeah, there's enough. My team got eliminated from football. I mean, basketball is starting to heat up, I guess, kind of. Um, but yeah, there's nothing like baseball season. And by the looks of it, I mean, by what the commissioners told teams, I mean they're trying to play the whole season, right?
I mean, that's the narrative currently. I certainly hope so. I know there was that news out of Arizona, local Arizona government wanting baseball to push back spring training.
Uh huh.
Um, who knows where that's going to go. They currently have hockey playing right now, I believe, with fans.
Yeah, it's just a little. I don't know. Any type though any of those types of announcements as far as like scaling back any type of activity in certain areas, like it's always easy to kind of sniff out the hypocrisy somewhere, right, or find it. Um, but I mean, I guess that's a different discussion. But I mean, I just don't see like them not like it's spring training is one giant bubble. It always has been, you know. And just what makes it more at risk, I guess, would be fans. But I mean, you don't need fans there. I mean, I think get there however many days early, test. I'm pretty sure they're gonna have access to vaccinate players. Like I'm pretty sure of it. So I just don't see there being too much of of an issue there. I mean, they just played a World Series with fans. You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't understand why they can't make that happen.
Yeah, same here. I'm expecting things to work out and baseball to begin. Maybe some modifications here and there, but you know, definitely begin and let's get the season going.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And it's been an off season, I guess. It's I don't know, man. It's so much less stressful when your team just won the World Series.
Yes, indeed.
Like, and this is
Yeah.
probably what would have made me such a worse athlete is like knowing, like, yeah, my team just won the World Series. If they don't do too much, I guess it's fine. Like, even if we don't win next year, like we just won it. Now, look, when the first pitch is thrown, I'm probably just going to be the same, angry sports fan. But
Right.
right now, I'm zenned out, bro. Nobody can nobody can bother me. Like my
Well, I
team.
mean, you don't need to win an off season. You know what I
Exactly.
mean? All the other teams are chasing you. They have to try and win the offseason and win
Yeah.
it significantly enough to close whatever gap there is between them and you as the champion.
Yeah.
So,
And look, the Dodgers, it could be said that the Dodgers won the offseason last year and they won it the day before the season started. So by signing Mookie to that long-term deal. So I mean, I don't know, man. It's it's just a lot less stressful, which is nice in these times. But um you mentioned teams having to close the gap. There is one team that's made significant, you could say, upgrades, right, to the rotation and so forth.
I
A
mean, they
team,
made moves
yeah,
if
they
it's who
made
I think
moves.
you're talking about.
And that's our little brother in the National League West, the San Diego Padres. What do you think of those moves that they made, Frank? Like, are they already were they already a contender last year? Depends how you define a contender. If you define a contender as somebody that makes the postseason, then
Um,
yeah,
I, I mean, personally, I define a contender as someone who not just makes the postseason, but has a legitimate shot to win the championship. And I know by default, if you're in, you have a shot. But I mean, did the Brewers truly have a shot
no,
last season? You know
not
what
a
I mean?
chance.
So no. I mean, I would say the Padres were on the threshold of being a contender last season.
Okay.
Could they have won a 7-game series in 7 days in the NLCS? Could they then have gone on and had enough depth and enough health to then contend in the World Series? I don't know. to be
Yeah.
honest. So I would say they were close. And now do these moves that they've made this offseason largely to the pitching staff, uh, did they make them a contender? Did they push them past that threshold? Maybe. I mean, what is Yu Darvish at this point? You
Yeah, we don't
know,
know.
is he a number two? Is he? He's certainly not a number one. He hasn't been
Nah, any
for.
team with Blake Snell, I mean, there's what, 2 or 3 pitchers, maybe 4 in the league that if they're on the same team as Blake Snell, they're the number one, you know? So I think it's fair to say
Yeah, so
he's kind of
Blake
the guy there.
Snell is an upgrade without a doubt. But how good is Blake Snell? The fact that they were, the whole controversy that occurred in Game 6 of the World Series,
Yeah.
we'd like to say, yeah, he had struck out our top of the other guys, all 6 of them faced, struck out against him. He was grooving, but there have been plenty of games in the past in his history where he's grooving like that, and then he just really falls off a cliff
Yeah.
later in the games. So not only do you have that question mark with him, how deep can he truly go into games? But also, how is he over the course of a full season at this point in his career? Is he a bona fide number one workhorse that can carry a staff into October? Maybe, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Talent wise, sure, but can he do it? We don't know.
Yeah, we don't. And look, I mean, just from a Padres perspective, I mean, if we want their chances or their Warriors' chances diminished with each pitching injury they had, right? With Denelson Lamet going down and then Clevenger going down, like it just wasn't good fortune for them. That's which happens. They can make that argument saying like, oh, we could have been good last season. We could have beat the Dodgers last season if this, and that. But guess what? Who's been the if team before this last year? Who's been the if team the previous 7 years? It's us. Like we know how to play that game. We know what that sounds like. You know what I mean? Don't give us
Yeah.
ifs, right? Like we know. Like yeah, if Hanley Ramirez didn't get hit in the rib with the fastball, if this and this, you know what I mean? It just doesn't. Like that argument might work with other teams, not here. It's not going to work. Like yeah, health, it is a luck factor, but also partially not, man. Like you just stay healthy. That's part of the game, and you didn't. So, but as far as Blake Snell goes, I mean, look, Dodgers faced him twice in like a 5-6 day span during the World Series, and in a 162 game season, you play each division opponent 18 times, so you're gonna face them another 3 to 4 times, right? I mean,
Yeah.
things line up that way. So like after that 4th time, let's say that's the 6th time the Dodgers see him in a span of like 11 months. I would like to think adjustments would be made, right? Or guys would start getting better looks at it,
Yeah, that's a great point. No
and
doubt
so
about it.
Dodgers have been known to make those types of adjustments. They didn't make it in a 5-day turnaround in the World Series, right? And look, he made our guys look silly. Like I felt legitimately bad for him, right? I mean, not for the fan base, for him, like because it's like, oh, like if Kevin Cash were to, if I'm dealing like that and I see Kevin Cash walking towards the mound to take the ball away from me, it's gonna take a little bit more than a little tap on the ass to get that ball away from me, man. Like if I'm dealing like that, so and then to see the game slip right in the hands of somebody else, so I do sympathize with that, but yeah, as far as the impact he's gonna have on the Padres, like it's gonna mean a few W's for them. It is, and look, there's a chance the Dodgers don't have the best record in the National League next year. Big whoop.
Possibly, sure.
Like, and then that's something that those are just trivial details. I mean, at this point, and our fan base is weathered. We're tested, and we learned that those things truly don't matter. Truly, because how many years in a row, if we go back, it was before that, it was 2019, 2018, 2017. The previous 3 years, we lost, at home, got eliminated. So home field advantage only means a certain amount of, we won a World Series without playing a single home game in the DS, CS, and World Series, so you just don't accept those types of, like, not excuses, but those types of things, they just tend to matter a little bit less.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, and so if they're gonna steal a couple wins from us during the season because of whatever, great, But like I will get in, and now that the Dodgers have that, they got over the hump, they got that monkey off their shoulder, like they monkey off their back. Is that the term, the expression? I don't
I believe so.
know. You could just see a lot more of a just a free playing, worry free team, and that could be dangerous for the league as well.
Yep, I'm expecting, there will be highs and lows in the season. Simple as that, but they'll be right there. They'll get in. That's the expectation. They're still one of the, if not the deepest team offensively, pitching wise. They made major, they added to the bullpen this offseason. And we have a top tier front office who
Yep.
is capable of making necessary moves that they've proven now and to win a championship. So if you made mention about how the Dodgers won the offseason the day before the season began last offseason,
Yep.
there's still moves to be made out there currently. There's still,
Oh yeah.
situations that aren't completely solidified yet. And
Mhm.
then there's always the trade deadline, and we're still working with one of the better farm systems in all of baseball. So we're definitely kind of playing with house money with it when it comes to how the season seems to play out. There's a couple contenders. You mentioned that we were talking about the Padres. There's the Braves that are there as well. And as far as the National League, the AL is going to have
The
to sort
Mets
it out.
have inserted themselves in the conversation, but they still have a lot to prove.
Oh yeah, let's see what happens there. I mean, certainly the Francisco Lindor edition,
Yeah.
the trades. Uh, yeah, they should be better than they were last season without a doubt, but they have a really, really, really big gap to close from where they were to where they'll need to be to contend. But
Yeah.
it's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. And it just makes for an exciting season, man, because um, I found myself the last few years like just going through the motions during the season, just feeling like just get to the postseason, get to the postseason, get to the postseason, because we know that's when it matters, and hasn't changed. But also now, like we talk about the monkey being off of the backs for the players, but as a fan too, like we know, like hey, like all right, we have that moment, we have that that banner's going to be hanging and or what, however they hang it at Dodger Stadium, but uh now we get to maybe enjoy the things we didn't get to enjoy the last 5, 6, 7 years as a Dodger fan, and which might be some of the battles during the regular season. And because I'll be honest with you, like I could like during the regular season, these little faux rivalries, like I didn't take the honestly, I haven't taken the Padres seriously until I've seen like how their lineup or how their roster looks now. Because even during the season, I was like, they're still the Padres. We swept them in the division series. Like at that point, it's like, okay, like get out of here. Now their roster's a lot better, and we got to take a look at that. But also too, I'm entertaining that. I'm entertaining other opponents and so forth. So I mean, I think the league's going to be exciting. What American League division are we supposed to play this year? It's the American League West again, right?
Well, I don't know if it resets or not because last year that didn't happen. Because I think
Yeah,
last year it was set to be the Central,
something like that. Yeah,
I believe, because we had played
yeah, it was because I remember we were going to play in Cleveland.
the
That was
West
maybe
in
when you know that.
2018
Yeah,
and then the East in 2019, and then last year we didn't get to play the Central. So I don't know if it just continues and it's the Central, or do we just skip them and then go back to the West? I'm not really sure.
when you go on the MLB.com app, they have that app. Like you look at the so-called 2020 schedule. Now, if they're going to stick to that, whatever. But it's American League West teams. Now that I remember, so um, and there you have, you know, obviously the Astros. That matters so much less now, but you got the
Right, right.
Astros. The Angels is always a fun series. The A's downgraded a little bit, right? Um, yeah, so it's gonna be a lot of the Padres. Yeah, I think the Padres are gonna you know probably be the biggest pain in our ass this season. I think it's okay to say that, you know, not to
Well,
disparage them completely.
and the fan base.
Yeah, yeah. um, but I feel like they forget so quickly that like once there's fans in stadiums and the Dodgers come to town to San Diego,
Yeah.
come on, it's gonna be all Dodger fans again, and so that should humble them. But yeah, man. You mentioned Andrew Friedman and the front office and how competent they have been. So let's get into this offseason and kind of what they've been able to do, what hasn't been done yet. And I want to start with the bullpen, right? Because that was one of the bigger questions coming out of this last season into the offseason. Blake Trinan was no longer going to be under contract. Guys like Pedro Baez were going to be gone. Kenley, we just don't know what Kenley's going to be going forward. Who else? I don't know. I mean, guys did emerge. Guys like Victor Gonzalez, Brusdar Graterol, but there were questions, and mainly a huge part of this 2020 World Series team was Blake Trinan, and he did get a contract, right? And in my opinion, it was a steal, right? Very similar to or it was less. It was less than than what Brandon Morrow got when he signed with Chicago.
Yeah.
Yeah. And who was it in the league that ended up a huge contract from Oakland? Ended up getting a contract that's was worth way more. So I mean, our front office did very well with that deal. Tommy Canley. What's it? I don't understand. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I know you're talking about the Oakland.
The Yankees guy. He's coming off surgery, but it's a 2-year deal. Yeah, right. So I don't see much from him in 2021, but going forward at 2022, that might be a big part of our bullpen. And then is it Knebel or Nebel from Milwaukee?
Corey Knebel or Knebel.
Knebel. Yeah. So Evil Knebel. Dino Evil. He's with the Dodgers now. There was a trade, so he's an option now. And Brandon Morrow got a spring trading invite. So look, there's options there, man. And it seems like every single year the Dodgers kind of get this reclamation project and make something out of it. Now be careful, fans, because it's dangerous when you come to expect that type of thing, So every time that does happen, standing round of applause, great job, Dodgers. But don't think that it's going to happen every single time. For all we know, all those guys, because of their injury history, because of their decline, because of whatever, it could be that, they all go where they're projected to go, but there is reason to have some optimism.
That they always have depth in the farm system. And then, with the depth of the starting pitching, that always pushes one or two of those, capable starters into bullpen roles here and there throughout the season and maybe even into the playoffs. So, there's just, like you said, there's options. And lastly, if needed, there's always the trade route.
Always. And so, I mean, that's interesting. It's the way that they're going to build this bullpen and the way that you see teams spend on bullpens. And the Dodgers were kind of on that boat for a little while. They signed Kenley Jansen, they signed Joe Kelly, guys like that. But they're kind of seeing that the recipes for success is that sign a bunch of guys, let someone emerge, and if it doesn't, get somebody in a trade. And that seems to be the sauce, man. That seems to be and you don't hand by some of the deals. The pitcher in baseball is kind of like the running back in football, right? You just don't know how long their prime is going to be.
Yeah,
right?
The shelf
how long
life,
they're going to sit at the top of the mountain. So, and it's essentially the same thing. I mean, these guys, look, running back sprinting into offensive line the whole time and risking injury. Pitchers are coming in for 1-2 innings and maxing out, throwing as hard as they possibly can, and that could have a toll too. So we'll see. I think we'll be okay. I think we'll win a lot of games with the bullpen that's presented now. Like I said, don't forget Brusdar Graterol. Don't forget, Victor Gonzalez.
Yeah, the Brewers guy, like Jeffries, or
we didn't send Jeffries, right?
I thought
we have
maybe that's
Jimmy Nelson.
Jimmy Nelson, yeah, that's one. Oh yeah,
Jimmy Nelson, yeah. Jimmy Nelson's Jimmy Nelson's the guy I forgot to mention. He's on the roster. That's a guy with like a high upside, very low risk, very high upside, which could work. But then again, like I said, it could not work, and we just don't know. But so we'll see how that goes, man. So as far as taking action on the bullpen, that's always kind of something that's always pending. But I mean, Dodgers got after it early in the offseason, man, and It does bring me at ease a little bit. But one thing that does need to be addressed is third base. And I mean, look, we say it does need to be addressed because, I mean, Dodgers, the wealth of talent that this organization has, there's always going to be options, right? Anybody can leave. Mookie Betts can leave. There's an option in right field. That's just how it goes. But obviously, with a guy like Justin Turner, his contract expiring, and he hasn't been signed by any team yet, you kind of have to ask yourself, like, well, what's taking so long, right? Like, what is it? Is it that they're waiting for the DH announcement to be made? Is it that he truly wants a 4-year deal and won't budge from that? Is that they want a 2-year deal, they won't budge from that? But one thing we do got to remember, guys, is that look, somebody's always going to have leverage, right? And we look at leverage as this hypothetical thing, like, oh, well, they have the leverage if they want to do this. If they have leverage, somebody's going to do this. Sometimes people are going to use that leverage. And I think that might be what the Dodgers are doing, right? I think they know that he wants to be a Dodger, right? But they also know, like, hey, they have more options. And not that other teams won't offer Justin Turner a contract, but this guy has so much more value to a team that's going to win and get to the postseason. Like, that's who he is, right? That's who he's become. And the way his career has played out in the last 3-4 years, he'll have an injury or two during the season, doesn't provide as much value during the season as you think he's going to. But in the postseason, he shows up, and that's who he becomes, Justin Turner. You know what I mean? And with the Dodgers winning, it masks that a little bit every single year. But if you put him on a team like the Brewers, who have been linked to him, they're going to need him during the season, like to get to where they want to get to. They're going to need him to put up those types of numbers. And I just don't, I think the Dodgers are more valuable to him than any other team, and the Dodgers will give him the AAV, the average annual value. It's just the years, man. And I get it, and he wants to get one last big punch, one last big one before he leaves and signs a contract and retires. But I mean,
yeah, I like your tweet. Sign him to 4 years, 2 as a player, 2 as a coach.
There you go. Yeah, man. I mean,
no, I think he's back. I think, yeah, I'm not worried at all about timeline. Overall, the offseason has been pretty slow to materialize. And, I don't foresee him. I don't foresee a team offering him enough to pull him away from the Dodgers. And that would, it seemed to entail that it would mean 4 years or, a third year with a really high AAV. I don't foresee it happening. I foresee that even if somebody were to offer him a third year, the Dodgers could just increase the AAV on the 2-year deal that gets it close to that.
Mm-hmm.
And so with being home, with returning back, trying to run back the championship, defend the title, and all of the things that LA can provide him that another place can't, I can't see him leaving. I can't see anything materializing out there that would pull him away personally.
Yeah, it just wouldn't sit right, man. It just wouldn't feel right. And I know that doesn't mean a whole lot usually. Like, oh, it just doesn't feel right. Like, who cares? Just put on a uniform and play baseball, and whoever wins, wins, But I mean, you got to go back to the end of the season and him just not getting, like, him being such an important part of this team and franchise for so long, finally winning the World Series, but not getting like the moment that he deserved,
Right.
with the controversy with him testing positive for COVID, with the way that was handled. And you got to know that he's still craving that moment, man. Like, you got to think, right? And it's not going to mean as much to him somewhere else as it would have meant here. I'm not saying he doesn't feel like a champion, any of that, but I don't know, man. If the day we finally get a parade and he's not there, like, I don't know, it's just not. That doesn't sit right with me. And look, I've mentally moved on from so many players that we ended up resigning. I had mentally moved on from Clayton Kershaw when, like, at some point, because I was thinking, like, okay, I don't know if they're going to want to give him the money. Eventually they did, But this one would hurt, man. This one would hurt because it's like, it just doesn't, it wouldn't feel right. And not Not to mention, there's still a need at third base. I understand we have Edwin Rios in the wings. I understand, we have guys that can play third base, but um, I just I think that position still belongs to him. And if you can upgrade, sure. I mean, if you think Nolan Arenado's an upgrade and that's an option, okay. If you can somehow get a Matt Chapman deal done, okay. It's hard for me to fight with that always. Like, I'm not going to, but I just don't think we have a responsible option past Justin Turner. So I think it needs to happen.
Yep, and I'm expecting it too.
Yeah, man. So, look, past that, this team's going to look a lot like it did last year. Your
Minus a
boy,
couple guys.
your boy Kike Hernandez is now with Boston Red Sox. And look, let's talk about Kike, man, and give him the whatever. Let's just talk about Kike Hernandez in his time as a Dodger. As frustrating as he was at times, right? And the misuse of him at times, whatever. This guy was in the middle of some of the biggest moments of my life as a Dodger fan. Like,
Without a doubt.
the first one that comes to mind is obviously in a championship year. He has that game time home run, game 7 against the Braves in the NLCS, like 8 pitch at bat, grinded that at bat, and just hits an absolute missile into left field and gets that done. The one that'll always resonate with me, 2017 World Series,
Game 5.
Game 2. It was Game 2, the home game, extra innings. Dodgers ended up losing that game, but they were down to their last out,
Right.
3-1 count, 2 outs, 3-1 count. Logan Forsythe is at second. Defense has shifted him to the left side. Pokes the ball in the right field. Logan Forsythe scores. Tie game. Extends it another inning. I was at that game. I don't think I've ever heard the stadium louder than that. I mean, that's everybody kind of has that, like, what's the loudest you've ever heard the stadium moment? Like, for me, it's that one. It was just deafening, and I'll always remember that. Like, always one of the most special moments for me as a Dodger fan. Because to this day, it's still the only World Series game I've been to, and 3 home runs against Chicago, against the Cubs to get the Dodgers to the World Series. He's been there, man. And when I look back 30 years from now at the team that finally brought home a championship to the Dodgers, like, yeah, obviously you're going to think about the Kershaws. You're going to think about Bellinger, Mookie, Seager. But guess what? I'm also going to think about that next tier of players that really were like the belly of the team, like the heart, the kind of that sat beneath the stars, which are the Kike Hernandez, the Jock Peterson, the Chris Taylors, the Max Muncy. I mean, it to an extent is a star in his own right, but guys like that were just in the DNA of the team, embedded in the DNA of the team. And I wish him nothing but luck in Boston. I hope he produces, because Boston will be ruthless to a guy with the type of personality that he has that doesn't match it with production. And also the fact that they're not good, and he might not be afforded those playoff opportunities to really redeem himself.
Right.
So I hope, I hope he gets plays every day like supposedly he's supposed to. I just, we'll see. But look,
Yeah,
ultimately,
I mean, he certainly,
he made his money.
no doubt about it. He's earned that contract he got. He deserves the shot, to try and play every day somewhere. And mostly he deserves to be appreciated by Dodger fans without a doubt. Like you said, the big playoff moments, the fact that he owned our chief rival, Madison Bumgarner, for so long.
Oh, yeah.
Great moments there too in the regular season. Just the role that he played on the team, being that Swiss Army knife, plugging in at so many different positions and doing it so well. I remember going to that. There was a game where he made 2 spectacular plays at playing shortstop.
Oh, yeah. Up the middle, right?
Yeah, exactly. A play, top level guy at various positions, and the personality. He lightened the clubhouse, fit in, and he certainly deserves to be appreciated. But by all means, he does, like you said, he earned the contract that he got from another team, and so definitely wish him the best of luck. Um, and yeah, like you said, yes, in that market, in that town, in that fan base, yes, please produce, or
Yeah.
else it's going to be kind of miserable for him.
Yeah, for a guy like him, right? Jock still hasn't signed anywhere, right?
Yeah, no, still waiting on that market. There seems to be some logical fits. I would think the Angels could be a logical fit
Yeah.
for him.
Angels, Giants, like
Yeah, San
you know,
Francisco.
I think this might be a case where Jock is waiting on to see if the DH is going to be a thing, you know, like so.
Yeah.
I don't know, yeah, because I think he could be valuable to the team, and if the need for a DH doubles, I think that might help him, um, monetarily at least. But as far as market wise, yeah, man, like you put him in Anaheim, and you know, I think that's like they've already tried to get him at some point, right, and backed out. Stupid Artie, but like,
Thank you,
um,
Artie.
yeah, he's from Northern California. I think the Giants are a good fit. Obviously, the familiarity with Farhan, and I'm sure if we dive deeper, we can identify some other fits there. Um, I think if the DH becomes a thing, maybe a place like Miami, honestly, like because big ballpark, you can pull it out of there, and also they were pretty good last year. Like they
Yeah.
might just be a couple pieces from just sticking around, and that might be an option, um, but we'll see. I mean, also, what Atlanta's probably going to lose Marcelo Zuna, and they're going to need some type of bat. I don't know. There's options there. Um, I think best thing he's kind of like a Justin Turner too. It's like we're Jocktober is a thing for a reason, and you
Right.
might need him to go to a contender. But I mean, we'll see, man. Um, so yeah, I mean, Pedro Baez going to the Astros. Anybody that cares about that of him going to the Astros, I mean,
Yeah,
come
it's
on.
irrelevant to me. I
Yeah,
have
come
no
on.
feelings about it.
Good for him. Get your money, and honestly, it's pretty good fit. To be honest, he's gonna get a lot of innings there, so I don't see why he
Yes.
wouldn't do that.
And
Um,
I mean, it'll be entertaining to watch some of the Astro fans rather, melt down when he bombs the lead. Unless Dusty Baker, you know,
it's the guess. Oh, if Dusty Baker gets the best out of a bullpen guy, okay, all
yeah,
right,
yeah, exactly,
okay,
exactly.
all right, dude. We'll see.
So I was gonna say, unless Dusty Baker magically this far into his life and career learns to not misuse a bullpen guy.
If the old dog learns a new trick.
Yes, indeed, they're well said. So that'll be fun to watch. But yeah, he deserves that payday too. He's been a workhorse for us, man, and he's gone through a lot of ups and downs, and he's a
Yeah,
champion. So
a
a
champion, man.
legitimate champion, I might add, going
All
to
these
maybe
guys,
an
man. Yeah,
illegitimate
exactly.
championship
He'll be the only
roster.
he'll be the only legitimate champion on that team. So,
That's a
uh,
good tweet. That's a good tweet.
um, uh, but yeah, all those guys. Alex Wood getting a shot in San Francisco. He's going to pitch every fifth day there.
Yeah,
Again, like I just I couldn't be happy for these guys. Legends, man, legends. Like for me, the day I own my restaurant, shit, go to the one I work at now. Like those guys don't pay a penny. Like like they walk in, they get free everything because they gave me that moment, man. They gave me that moment, if they all play a part in it, and some of them were part of the grind a little bit longer than others, but I mean, it's I'm glad they got to leave as champions, and there's other guys you wish got to leave as champions, right? The Matt Camps and so forth, but some things happen, some things don't, and
right.
that's just kind of the way things play out. Um, but yeah, man. So we'll see how that goes. Um, I don't know. I don't know how much time we have left. One thing that did come up. I don't know if it was yesterday, or the day before. Uh, for the last, I want to say 5-6 years, the Dodgers have had probably the best sideline reporter in baseball. I don't know all of them, so maybe that's kind of not for me to say. But
Right.
just an absolute like talent at what she does. Um, always ask good questions. Always, as far as on the camera, very professional. um, um, has decided to leave the Dodgers organization and what she does, doing her own thing. That's Alana Rizzo. Um, Now, look, we each individually have history with Alana Rizzo on social media.
Indeed.
Um, so I did want to preface all that with, actually saying that she's really good at the job she does, like very, very good. It's no accident she got where she got,
No, without a doubt.
where she
Yeah,
go.
she's
Um,
second to none in her field.
yeah. But yeah, so I know, like Frank and I, a lot of you guys um, have been blocked by Alana Rizzo on social media, whether it's Instagram, whether it's Twitter. Um, my little story, I've told it a million times. I'll say it briefly. The day after Vince Scully retired, she tweeted out like, "Hey, what do you guys think Vince doing on his first day of retirement?" And I tweeted back with, "Well, morning sex with Sandy, obviously, right?" Blocked immediately. Rest rest in peace, Sandy Scully. But
Yes, rest in peace.
um, so I got blocked for that, and that I don't want to take full credit for it, but I feel like shortly after that, a lot of people started realizing, like, holy shit, she blocks everyone. like what's going on here? So, want to tell your story, Frank, of how she blocked you?
Yeah, I mean, I think mine has a little more sympathizers for her side
Right.
than yours, probably. Um, she's very, very. She's a activist in the world of rescue animals, specifically rescue dogs. And I know that's
Right.
you just got a dog.
I did. I got a puppy.
Yeah,
Yeah, I did.
yeah,
She's all geared up with Dodger stuff too, man.
really cute dog, I might
Yeah,
add.
yeah. Thank you.
And I'm well known not a big dog person. Let's just put it that way. I've come to appreciate them a little more because a lot of my friends and inner circle family, they all have dogs. So, I'm around them a lot more often
Your
these
kids
days.
do the kids ever give you a hard time about getting a dog?
Yeah, my oldest daughter, she wants a dog really badly. But uh so she was just promoting one of her efforts to rescue a particular dog, I think, that had been run over by a vehicle and it was suffering pretty badly. Um and so she's putting out there, her drive to help that animal, I guess, recover or, get better. And so
Uh-huh.
she was making mention about the fact that, like, no animal should have to suffer. That was her direct quote, if I remember correctly. No animal
Okay.
should ever have to suffer. And I said, I agree. One option is to euthanize said animal so that it no longer suffers. I mean, I thought that was completely logical.
Well, it's
And
clearly an option. I mean, that's
I mean, it is
zero
a
lies in
option,
that statement. Clearly an
right?
option.
Find the lie. And, you know, to her credit, she didn't block me immediately. She actually engaged me, I think, 2 or 3 rounds of tweets back and forth. And, she was appalled, I think, by my
by your,
statement, or I don't know. She was
by your
upset
proposal.
by the proposal there. And I says, look, it's just like you and I just reasoned. It's an option. You said no animal should have to suffer. I agree. One option could be to euthanize it. So it doesn't have to suffer through any kind of rehabilitation, which may or may not work, which may or may not prove beneficial or helpful. Matter of fact, it's possible that euthanization is a better option for this particular animal than trying to rehab it. That's possible. And she got mad once I made that point, and so she blocked me.
Oh my god, that's legendary. So I mean, look, man, you're just life's about options and picking the best one, and you're just providing options. I don't see anything wrong with that. Uh,
Yeah, I mean, she picked
I wish
an
nothing.
option that maybe she had an options, and she picked a particular option in her, personal romantic life. He also picked a
Yes,
particular option, right? And
yes,
by
yes,
all
yes,
means,
absolutely,
that's happening.
exactly. It's absolutely happening, and I hope they enjoy retirement together or whatever you want to call it. Uh, but yeah, I wish nothing but the best. Hopefully that dog's still alive and healthy. But if not, I hope it was by choice. And so, um, anyways, that's something that came about yesterday. I'm doing a little giveaway contest from my personal post, from my personal Twitter. at baseball Frank. Um, I have a Herschel packable backpack. That's actually really clutch because I don't know what happened, but I got two of them. So I had kept one, and one of them I'm using for this giveaway, and they're really cool. I mean, they're great to take on trips to the beach, all that stuff because they're foldable. But I want you guys to send me, if you're blocked on any social media front by her, send me the tweet or just like type out the situation that got you blocked. And I've gotten a few already, and they're hilarious, dude. They're so funny. A lot of them are just like, I never even responded to her for anything ever, and she blocked me. So she's been very, very happy with the block button over the years. So in honor of Alana Rizzo's time with the Dodgers, I'm doing this giveaway. And so if everybody who's been blocked or tag someone that you know has been blocked in that post, I'll put it as my header for a few days. And on Monday, so this Monday, which is I don't even know what's the date today. I don't know. This coming Monday, the Monday of Super Bowl Sunday, the Monday before Super Bowl Sunday. I'll pick my favorite. I'll pick the winner, and then we can announce it on next week's podcast. How about that?
Sounds like a plan. I like it.
All right, cool. So far, there's been some funny ones, man. And some of them, I'm like, okay, like I understand why you got blocked. Like you can't just like call someone a bitch on Twitter.
No. I like the ones that are like, if I get blocked between now and then, can I enter?
Yeah, like, and by the rules of the game, you could definitely can. You have until Monday to get blocked and make it count. So, but yeah, wish nothing but the best to the Rizzo Iannetta family, and going forward, wish her nothing but luck on her future endeavors. Anything else to add, Frank?
No, that's it. I like that. I like ending on a giveaway. We're all about the people.
Absolutely. So I'm gonna let your ass get back to work, but
I'm on the clock.
You can. Yeah, there you go. Love it. Just thank you guys for coming back and listening to us. Pandemic's been weird for a lot of reasons, and I think it affected this podcast in a certain way. But
hey, I have a question before we close.
What's up?
Outdoor dining? Are you guys
outdoor dining? Yep. Outdoor dining at Alondra Hot Wings in the city of Paramount will continue this weekend. So
yes, indeed. All right.
Barring weather, all that stuff. So you know what? Like when it got shut down the last time, like it's just been crazy for everyone, man. Like these workers were all great workers. I mean, we don't hire bad ones, and they, for the second time in the same year, they got laid off, furloughed, whatever you want to call it. And it's tough, So the promise that we made them is like, hey, the moment we can get you back to work, we will, So by the county of LA, that we're allowed to start doing it on Friday.
Okay.
So if the weather's good, we're doing it Friday. And if it's not, we'll do it Saturday and, do it the way we can. We've been playing by the rules the whole time, which we're also proud of, but also, man, we could do a whole nother 3-4 hours about this, about how this whole thing could have been handled differently. But we just think, anybody that's supported small businesses and all that stuff. I mean, it's been tough on everybody. Luckily, the company I work for is part of, a little bit of a lot bigger restaurant group. And, everybody at the location's just been, that's come and supported has been great. So we appreciate the support there. But this weekend.
Sounds good. Planning to make a trip pretty soon.
Hell yeah, man. Yeah. You know where to find me. So thank you guys for coming back, listening, and for those new ones, thanks for giving us your time. Hopefully you come back next week. And this is season 4?
Season 4. Let's go.
Season 4 of the Let's Be Frank podcast. Season 4, episode 1 of the Let's Be Frank podcast. I don't know what's going on with our Twitter. It's not there. Maybe it'll come back. I don't know what's going on.
I think you got to try. I was looking at that. I think you might have to try re-verifying via your phone number. So if you try to sign in, I think if you go that process, possibly.
Sounds easy enough. We'll do that then. And also, but we are on Instagram at Let's Be Frank Pod. If you guys ever want to hit us up, ask us a question. The mailbag, I'm assuming we'll resume it next week. This week, we just wanted to talk to you guys. and also facebook.com/Let's Be Frank Pod. I'm at Baseball Frank on Instagram and on Twitter. You changed yours recently on Twitter, right?
Yeah, I wanted it to match my Instagram. So at 2B, just the number 2, the letter B, and then Frank M.
Perfect. Yeah, that's easy. It's easier when they match there. So that's good. We're excited to do this again. Jazzed up about it, and here's to another championship.
Yes, run it back.
All right. Well, we're the Franks. You're the franchise. Thank you for listening. We'll see you next week. Peace.
Cool.
All right, cool. All right, brother. I'll edit this today because every time I